Alright everybody, welcome back to the Premier League Radiance Cup, the fourth of 7 season cups that TPL will be having this season, and then of course the playoff cup to finish it all off a little bit later this year, but before the international. Our third of 4 quarterfinal matches, Virtus Pro versus RoX.KIS, and we'll talk about this matchup in just a second, but first, introduce the casters. I'm Vykromond, I'm filling in for Blaze today. Blaze is off celebrating his, I'm not sure which wedding anniversary it is, but it's an important one. He's on vacation. So, filling in will be myself, but you will have a returning caster. Triumph, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm pretty good. I mean, I'm just going to say, I think all the wedding anniversaries are pretty important unless you want to be sleeping on the couch.
That's true.
That said, I know some people are freaking out right now about 3 stand-ins on RoX.KIS's lineup with Sharfik. The thing is with Sharfik, even though they've tagged him as a stand, I'm pretty sure he's considered as a full member right now. I know that he's practically standing in the entire, pretty much every single league that RoX.KIS is still allowed to play in, and he's sort of the unofficial replacement at the moment. Sort of a temporary emergency replacement for, of course, Solo. So, for everybody freaking out, technically, they're only playing with 2 stand-ins. I mean, if you go and check on Ghosty Gamers right now, Sharpik is actually listed as a full member over there. So, don't freak out too much. I should also mention, we have a third force in play here. It's Z-Rage. Z-Rage is here. We've got Medved. We've got Medved over there, as well as Sharpik, both Z-Rage players. So there you go. Z-Rage now, it's going to be Virtus Pro versus RoX.KIS versus Z-Rage. But, bans, picks, OD and Trent again. Virtus Pro, here we go.
Yeah, Virtus Pro, impersonating Quantic a little bit here, maybe. We know that VP has been running this Outworld Devourer forever and a day. They ran it even before this Treant combo was discovered. So if you're already running the OD, you're already happy with it. Having the Treant Protector available only, I feel, makes you, even more happy. So they'll definitely like to pick this up. Treant Protector, of course, a hero that's just getting more and more popular. And RoX.KIS, maybe they were watching the last game. Lich actually banned out, and they take Shadow Fiend third. So this is a hero who's really making his presence felt. What do you feel about... What's your take on Shadow Fiend in general, Triumph?
I mean, the whole negative armor business has become fairly popular, and going into sort of that mid game where you've got the negative armor, because Shadow Fiend, of course, tends to get levels. That said, I'm just wondering what they're running here. We've got Nature's Prophet might be their offlane here. We've got Puck, Shadow Fiend, and Enigma. I think they're probably going to see Puck take the mid, Shadow Fiend get put in the safe lane with one back up there, and then Enigma in the jungle. I think that's where they're going here. I mean, that gives them a lot of firepower. They get to sort of the 15-minute marker, so they're going to have a lot of nukes, some really good disables. Of course, Park and Enigma can open things up. That said, Clockwork is there, who's a pretty decent response here for Enigma. Always got that counter initiation available. Sure. If you get in there, disrupt the black hole, then of course you can follow up with Outworld and the Trance, so we've always got to keep that in mind. But both teams have a very, very dangerous lineup. Virtus Pro particularly, I mean, you've got Queen of Pain and Outworld, and then you've got Trent to set him up with an Overgrowth, or Clockwork to even initiate the fights as well. So, I mean, I think it's going to be a pretty action-packed game. Either way, there's going to be a lot of fighting and a lot of heroes who can fight early on.
And we know that VP love to take the fight to teams early, and so I almost am a little more scared for RoX simply because I like to talk about Shadow Fiend as almost an anti, he can both snowball and reverse snowball, in the sense that once you die a couple of times, your Necromastery stacks get really low. If the other team controls the map, if they can just be pressuring you everywhere, all of a sudden your Shadow Fiend kind of just hits a brick wall and can't make it out. Like, he could just die again and again and again if you're not very, very careful. So they will have to make sure that they can do that. And then, of course, the Enigma, that's the other area. Dread is going to have to play very carefully on this hero. As you mentioned, VP have tons of ways that they can interrupt that black hole. I mean, just especially the Clockwork. If he has his Battery Assault on and Enigma uses black hole on him, unless he's on the very outer edge opposite Enigma of the black hole, he will simply automatically remove it. And so Dread going to have to be very careful, very high level play to make sure that that black hole actually does pay off for him. So let's go ahead and introduce the teams. RoX.KIS playing with a little bit of a full grip of stand-ins, but that's okay. I mean, they're a team that, for reasons that I think everyone's intimately acquainted with, have had to do a little bit of rebuilding. But Sharfik standing in, he is their temporary team captain and drafter. My understanding is that they're not extending him an offer for a full-time role in the team just yet, but he is at least standing in this captaincy role. So he will be on the puck, looking to actually go what looks like solo safe. And then that puts Business Perfect, RoX's carry player, on that mid Shadow Fiend. Dread, more likely than not, with this many clarities, is going to go up in the jungle as this Enigma, which leaves HT on the Crystal Maiden, supporting either top or bottom, and Tron, the other stand-in, on the Nature's Prophet.
Yeah, it looks like HD there having to back off. You're going to get harassed pretty heavily there by Revan. Revan, though, going to cop and I'm going to cop a frostbite there. It looks like he will back off, knowing that their support is probably not too far away from him. And that's actually pretty... I mean, that was pretty dangerous for him. For all he knew, there could have been 3 heroes sitting up right on top of that cliff when he chased Crystal Maiden up there.
Sure.
I think that was pretty... That was pretty ballsy there from Revan to charge up there all by himself.
Yeah, that's Arsart for you sometime. I mean, in general, VP, honestly, Arsart used to play a lot safer, I feel, and then he's been influenced by his time in Virtus Pro to just get more and more hype to sort of fit in with the rest of the team who are, I mean, they're hyper-aggressive overall.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, they'd love to fight. I mean, that's generally true of all the CIS teams. They love to scrap, love to brawl, and just see those crazy rolling fights where people die, buy back, TPN, die, respawn, TPN. It's just complete and utter insanity.
Absolutely.
Mid lane though, this is gonna be interesting, just because of course Outward Devourer can hit like a truck, but in this case we're not like BZZ is not as reliant on that mana pool. So of course getting raises off is nice, but early on he does a lot of damage from the Necromastery. Just auto attack damage is huge. So Outward may have to watch out for that. That said, he does have a lot of base armor. Like a hero starting off with 6 armor. I think the only other hero that I can think off the top of my head that has 6 armor from the beginning is actually that's it. He's got a lot of stats, but like is pretty much. Spirit Breaker, I think. I'm pretty sure he starts up at 6 as well.
Beastmaster, I think, has 5. Am I wrong there? But yeah, definitely Outworld Devourer. Pretty tanky just on the armor. And the main thing he's going to lose is, the raises. I think what that influences is rune control, so he won't really be able to just push a wave way out and then secure the rune. But yeah, Shadow Fiend can still do some last hitting even if he does happen to have a couple of stacks of Astral Imprisonment. So not an intellect-based hero that's just going to get completely devoured, as it were, by the Outworld. And so just quickly to introduce VP, I guess. Illidan in the middle, Airman on this Outworld Devourer. Then in the bottom, KSI on the solo lane Clockwork. One of his good heroes. I wouldn't say it's a highlight hero for him, but we've seen him make big plays on it before. And then the top lane, it will be a defensive tri-lane, NS on the Treant, Arsart on the Bane, and actually their stand-in from Z-Rage, as you mentioned, Medved, he will be on this farming role, Queen of Pain. What do you think about this? Just
quick check-in. Do we still have the overlay on? Is the chat's...
It was on for like 2 seconds.
Oh, okay, right. Just catching up with that. As far as the Queen of Pain, I mean, Queen of Pain farming, this is something we've seen before where she sort of... Like, the thing is, Queen of Pain can scale, and like, going back to the days when Anti-Mage was the go-to hard carry, like, we saw Queen of Pain, as long as they got off to a good start, they could control the mid-game, get their snowball going, and then as long as you got to the late game with a BKB, and then picked up something nasty like a Monkey King, but you could still dish out a lot of damage. Yep. So I don't really have an issue with that. That said, though, mid-lane, potential gank here, Astral Imprisonment, will we see them dive for this? BZZ, though, he's got support coming in, he's going to gun for the sec, he's going to gun for the kill there. Nightmare goes down, the Haste Rune allowing Bane to zip away there. Very lucky for him.
Whew. Outworld Devourer makes it out of there with 29 HP, so Airman only just barely living. One more tower hit and he would have gone down. So again, Arsart playing, I wouldn't say necessarily uncharacteristically aggressively, but we don't usually see him diving this hard on Bane. I guess he just felt that since he has the Haste Rune, he might as well use it, but definitely an interesting choice. And yeah, now that I look over these lineups, Triumph, there is one Agi hero and one Strength hero in this game. Everybody else is intelligence. Am I calculating that right? It looks like it.
Yeah, actually. Well, I mean, that's the thing. Like, intelligence heroes, the only hero type that pretty much can fill out any role fairly easily.
That's true.
Just, you get carries like OD, you got supports, you got mid-game gankers, you've got everything in the intelligence lineup because, of course, the spells are nice and varied. On that gank there, I think it was the right thing to do. I mean, they had a haste rune, and the thing is, had Enigma just not happened to basically be right there near the easy camp, that gank probably would have been pulled off fairly easily.
Yeah,
I think they made the right shot.
Yeah. And, of course, the other thing about this giant stack of intelligence is 4 out of 5 of RoX.KIS heroes being int means that Sanity's Eclipse, we're not going to see it drop the hammer quite as hard as it did in the last game. I mean, the first time we saw Sanity's Eclipse used in the Quantic Mouse game, I think it insta-killed at least one person and brought everybody else very low. But here's Virtus Pro once again aggressive. KSI going to trap Dread into the cogs. There's the Battery Assault. Enigma in a world of trouble. No way that he survives. The Battery Assault picks up the final hit there, and Virtus Pro first on the board, again with this roaming Bane. Of course, he is behind on levels as a result, but secures up the first blood. Clockwork now going to feel very comfortable in this offlane.
Yeah, I mean, that's not too bad. I think this will work out just fine for him, because the thing is, the Fiend's Grip, it's the same duration the entire time through. It's a 5 seconds, so he doesn't really need to get that quick level. He just wants to sort of hang around the back of the fight when they get to these team fights and just Fiend's Grip somebody at the end, or throw down the Nightmare, that sort of stuff. So this will probably work out for them just fine, I think, with the roaming Bane, as long as they pick off these early kills. Of course, if you roam around and get nothing, then it's a huge waste of time. That said, I am the only thing that I am slightly worried about here is the hook shots are a little bit harder to initiate with, whereas if you land a good opening with Puck, that could be a big, big pain for Virtus Pro to overcome, because if they can drop in there and basically make somebody explode and turn the fight into a 4v5 straight away, I think they've got a good shot, particularly if they can pick off OD quickly, because unlike last game, unlike last game, I don't think he's getting off to quite as good a start as he did. I'm just looking at the CS right now. He's only on 19 and 8. Like, he's got a lot of denies there, but he doesn't have quite the same amount of farm as the last match.
I agree. He definitely doesn't. The one thing that VP are doing, which is kind of cool, is they've rotated into almost a 2-1-2. So Arsart has been spending more and more time here in this bottom lane with just his boots and his tango, walking around and just ruining pulls or locking down the CM a little bit, and that actually lets them catch up on XP a bit. The natural position here for VP is that they're a little bit disadvantaged on XP simply by virtue of not having a dedicated jungler, but they're making up that difference by switching to this 2-1-2, just having NS do all the pulling and sort of stacking and a little bit of jungling. And then they're able to zone out Tron quite effectively just with the Queen of Pain, since she can just constantly harass the Nature's Prophet. Meanwhile, RoX, they may try for Airman here, but he just Astral Imprisons and walks away. And HT, a little bit of a speculative rotation from CM there, but doesn't really come to very much. Do you think RoX just keep these lanes static, or is there something they can actually do to pressure?
I think they're going to keep these lanes fairly static, because, I mean, it's going to take them a little while to get rolling before they can get aggressive.
Nightmare
of course, Nigma needs... Oh, wow, yeah, mid lane, some trouble here.
Too.
Port's coming in, though. It looks like they will pick up BZZ, though. Yep. Yes, he will go down in the end there. Puck ports in. Frostbite down on us out there. And now it looks like they're going to get two. Puck jumps in over the top. A Crystal Maiden goes down. Can they pick off the Bane? Bane going to get jumped here by Tron. He will pick him off in return. Also, it looks like they might actually know. Illidan actually probably going to smash Puck there. Sharfik needs to be careful. He's got the double damage as well. There we go. Nigma jumping in there. Going to try and take him out there. He's going to get healed up, though, by the living armor. And it looks like Puck, too aggressive, gets cleaned up in return. And now Tron getting hammered. Double damage as well as the Arcane. Although there comes the hook. They're going to go for Dread. Dread now. Dread's going to charge in. They will get picked off there. KSI getting the jump. And now Spike's still rolling. Another Astral Imprisonment. Who's that there? I think it's Shadowfiend. Oh, whiffs a Sonic Wave. A little bit too early, however. They will pick off Crystal Maiden. It was actually Crystal Maiden TPing in there, I think. And she gets cleaned up. But that's what I was talking about. These crazy fights where the CIS teams just go nuts. It's like, let's fight. Port in, die, come back, port in, die again. Why not? It's all good fun.
Why not?
Rush
yeah.
Dodo.
Roost Dodo, yeah, VP Airman just did not want to leave. He would not clear out of there. The OD staying in, getting kill after kill after kill, finally getting brought down by the returning Shadow Fiend, who I believe was first to die, but BZZ eventually has all the time in the world to get a TP, come back. And so, OD, honestly, I think that trade still favors VP. They just got way more kills out of it, pressuring RoX.KIS to constantly be TPing in. Clockwork makes it out alive, and just overall, honestly, VP feeling really good so far to me.
Yeah, I think VP definitely came out ahead there. I just want to get a quick heads up. For anybody confused to who the hell Tron is, or Tron, as you were saying, it's Nature's Prophet, the Topov guy. Topov. If you were trying to pronounce it like I would.
Yeah, he means throne in Russian. So.
Okay, there you go.
It's kind of like Xbox, right? It's Hwost, but
yeah.
If you haven't seen it before, you're like, why is that guy named after the revolutionary new... Oh, Sharfik in a little bit of trouble here. KSI cogs him, and he actually illusory orbs out, but HT in a bit of trouble. Living Armor canceling that tower damage. This is why people hate Treant. There's the Dream Coil from Puck. Going to try to pick off this Clockwork. KSI trying to juke and jive a little bit, but no way. Uses the hook shot, stuns Sharfik, but Sharfik probably going to clean up here. One more last hit. Yes, he'll get Arsart, but Medved coming in, cleaning up the Nature's Prophet. Still a 2-for-2 trade, while Outworld Devourer takes a tremendous amount of damage as well, but safe under his own tower. And NS, actually missed Queen of Pain cleaning up even more, so VP tilting that towards themselves yet again just by, I think, having a little bit more stick to it.
It laid down. BZZ getting picked off, not much you can do there.
Wow.
Astral Imprisonment setting up the Leech Seed, just enough to slow him down. I mean, Leech Seed doesn't need to do a whole, it just needs to keep him still for a bit, while Illidan completely smacks him around.
Yeah.
And this is what I mean, like last game, how I feel like something like a Queen of Pain could have set the tone like a lot more, just because you can have those early rotations. I mean, 10 minutes in, Queen of Pain says, you know, let me port down bottom, let me go and get some kills. That's the kind of hero who would have made a huge difference in Mouse Sports. But regardless, I think Mouse Sports, obviously, in the best of ones, curveballs throw anybody off. That's the fun thing about best of ones. It gets really weird and fun lineups out, just because you can catch somebody out off guard with them. That said, now we've got KSI rolling up to the top. Might try and set up a gank here. Hook is up in about 5 seconds or so, so he'll have that ready to go. And if he lands the hook shot, Nature's Prophet dead. No way he's getting out of that. The Fiend's Grip also ready fairly soon.
Trouble in the mid. Illidan taking a tremendous amount of damage. He is living armored. Nice hook shot to save him. They might reinitiate. The Sanita's Eclipse already Enigma on the ground. They trade two, though. Business Perfect with a perfect raise, actually. Clipping the Queen of Pain on the outer edge. So 2 for 1 for RoX.KIS, actually. Nice trade overall. KSI probably walks away from here. Actually, meanwhile, Triumph. How did they do that? Oh, they had a Bane up there as well, so not needing to use the Fiend's Grip, they trade for the Nature's Prophet, but it's a little bit of breathing room for RoX, I feel. I was already starting to get worried that Business Perfect might just get zoned out, but good set of kills there.
Yeah, I feel like RoX.KIS was sort of going for an alternative strategy. Rather than trying to shut down the OD or the tree as well, just jumping on top, they decided, you know what, let's play a split push game. They've got the Enigma here, who can push strong, of course. You've got the Nature's Prop in there as well, who can also be really aggravating in terms of pushing around the map. But in the end here, he's a hero. Like, you can put him in the offlane and stuff, but he takes a while to get going and to be useful until he gets the early items out. He's pretty much just an ult and a portable auto attack, and that's about it. He's not fantastic, especially when you got some high mobility heroes like Puck that can high mobility heroes like Queen of Pain who just jump in there and just destroy him, or even Clockwork like we saw. All they had to do was just
nice Astron Resonant, but still the tail end. They may use Black Hole. No, they don't actually have the cooldown. Nice hook shot. Living Armor gets him out of there. There's the Overgrowth. Dret now in trouble, taking a lot of damage from this battery assault. KSI lives just long enough to secure the kill there. Actually walking away with 8 HP. One more raise from Business Perfect will do the trick. Yes, he manages to get that, but Puck on the ground already. Meanwhile, Triumph, Illidan actually walking away. 109 HP. Bane warding them off. HT uses the Frost. Queen of Pain and Shadow Fiend trading as well. So Tron, he wants to clean this up. There's the Nightmare. Will Arsart and Illidan walk away from this? They're actually getting away on extremely low HP. Nature's Prophet with no TP for another 30 seconds has to walk off dejected. Another bloody fight. RoX.KIS, I feel like they're doing a little... Versuta saying this is the time to have a Zeus, but unfortunately no Zeus.
I like Shadow Fiend, the fact that he knew, like, BZZ is perfect, knew he was screwed there, so he stood his ground and traded with Queen of Pain. Obviously, Queen of Pain got the kill in first. It was, in fact, the death, the Requiem death that cleaned up the counter kill, but he got the damage in there, which was what needed to happen, rather than trying to walk away. I mean, Queen of Pain was just going to blink him and scream him if he tried to walk away, so smart play from him there. Made sure at least he picked up the gold again after dying, although trading off some XP. But, you know, the best out of a bad situation. Meanwhile, bottom tower being denied here. And yeah, like you said, like, that could have been so different. I mean, that would have been a huge win for RoX.KIS had they picked off the OD as well as the Bane. Or not so much the Bane, but they just got that OD in there. That would have been a huge, huge win for them if they got both of them.
But VP just have so many tools to get out of a fight. I mean, the Nightmare, the Overgrowth, actually, I mean, OD only stayed alive through the intervention of multiple heroes at multiple times. And that actually, as a result of that fight, he was able to disassemble his Tranks and make the mech. So they actually hit mech a lot earlier. Here's the hook shot to keep going. And what can Dread do when stuck here? Nothing. He just falls to the brain sap immediately. Even as Medved, who actually has been going pretty hard in the paint on this Queen of Pain, 6-3-0, doing a lot of work as a stand-in here. And Sharfik
I think he just phase shifted a freaking Overgrowth.
I think he did, yeah, you're right.
Wow, not a bad move from there. They're probably still going to lose the tower anyway, but I mean, what can you do? You got 4 heroes down here, not much you can do. I mean, I really like what VP do. They're just so aggressive. There's no room for Enigma to farm. And like you said, getting that mech out so much quicker is a big deal because Enigma is nowhere close to finishing his.
Right. He's still on Buckler. He hasn't really made progress towards it in the last few minutes, simply because, you know, this Enigma, Dread has 5 deaths. He's been in there, he's been in the fights trying to make something happen, but VP know this. They're forcing the fights intentionally to make sure that they bring down these sort of...
6.
Oh, trouble for Dread. Ouch. He can't find anything. Is it just... Should he just go back to jungle, or what?
Oh, the trouble is he goes to the jungle and then he just gets killed anyway because the enemy are roaming his jungle.
Sure.
And they don't have any ward vision. I mean, this is something, like, in the early game... The fact that ward change was brought in, how you only have to start for the 1 ward, is really painful. It's so much harder to keep the map warded up, so you've got a lot fewer options. It looks like they might go for a kill in the mid. No, it's the port top, actually. It looks like we've got the fight happening up top. Now we are starting some trouble. Puck, they're going to blink forwards, and he will phase shift, trying to get away. They will probably die here. Yes, there he goes. Puck is taken out. The counter-attack coming in, and unfortunately... Nature's Prophet not going to do a damn thing. Now the hook shot coming in. BCC trying to do some damage here. The battery solo causing some trouble. He might get the kill anyway. Just stands his ground. Auto attacks his way to victory. Still going to keep going. Triumph might make a note. Chancels a Requiem there. Will we see some Razors? Razors being tossed down there. The screen comes out again. BZZ gets taken out. Will get a kill in return though. Down goes the Triumph. And now Queen of Pain. No mana. Can she get away? It looks like Dread's not going to bother chasing. This is the problem. Dread, every time he goes to a lane, this is the first time it hasn't happened because he was already dead. But he goes to a lane, tries to fight, and then suddenly he's got a pal. He's got a friend. His name is Clockwork, and he comes in and gives him a great big hug. And there's nothing he can do except stand there and look stupid as he gets smacked in the face by battery assault and stuck in cogs. So I mean, that's been a huge pain for him. The fact that every time he tries to fight, Clockwork, KSI decides he wants to go and make his life miserable.
A little bit of all chat here. I don't know who changed their name to Jaedong, but I'm gonna have to say, if anybody's watching, this is almost certainly not the real Jaedong, the StarCraft 2 professional player. It's just somebody who's spectating the game, standing in and using that name. At any rate, yeah, I mean, VP, this high-pressure style, I have to feel like it favors them. Shadow Fiend has been doing a good job of actually not dropping. He has 4 deaths, but he's been able to build towards his BKB. But other than that, VP are just controlling RoX.KIS, I feel. Every fight that they trade 3 for 3 or something is, I feel, slightly advantageous to them, simply because nobody is that item dependent other than the OD.
I think every fight they trade and stall out the game that goes longer, I just don't think RoX have quite the same carry potential. I mean, sure, Shadow Fiend can hit pretty hard if he gets a whole bunch of items up, but the problem is there's hitting hard and then there's hitting like OD in the late game when you have a ton of items. And of course, the other big thing, of course, we don't really consider is intelligence carries. Their items tend to come with inherent disables, like really, not like you have to get in close to hit someone with an Abyssal Blade disable, but you can just sheep someone and then just blow their face off. And, you know, Sheep, Hex, there's so many good items there that they can get in there with the Disable. So I think that's something that's often overlooked, and that's OD, you know, he's got huge damage, and it comes with a Disable. Holy crap. And now, I don't know what Crystal Main was thinking there, but she's about to die. A horrible, painful death in the mid lane there. She will get blown apart. Tries to ult, just for shits and giggles, but it's not going to do a damn thing. And Shadow Fiend actually picks up his own kill there. Bane getting caught out. So the supports, both teams, getting way too aggressive, trying to 3v1 in separate fights.
I almost feel like both support... Oh, actually, this Astral Imprisonment might be trouble for Business Perfect, honestly. There's the Overgrowth. Here's a Black Hole in return. 2 caught in it. Sonic Wave to respond. Illidan already on the ground, and VP, they're just getting taken apart by the massive damage coming out here. Business Perfect now dueling KSI. The Battery Assault attempts to pick up, but no. Now he's forced to flee. Sharfik doesn't catch him with the Illusory Orb, but KSI's still on the run. He's quite low. Business Perfect does look to mop this up. He just needs a raise. Actually, Clockwork is going to deny himself on neutrals, maybe, or even hookshot out. The hookshot misses. He's going to get cleaned up. And that's actually a great trade for RoX, the best one I feel that they've had in a while. Business Perfect stays alive through yet another fight, has his BKB couriered to him just as that began, and that honestly, combined with a good Black Hole, VP, I don't know that they're quite tanky enough at this point to actually just have straight up fights with everybody versus everybody.
Well, see, the big difference there, of course, was this time, finally, Enigma didn't get smacked by Clockwork. Yeah. He actually got to a position he could help and not instantly get taken out of the fight there by Clockwork. So, I mean, that's, of course, the big difference. I mean, you land that combo. I mean, like, unlike last match where we had Mousesports with no team fight whatsoever, these guys land a puck to open up or a Black Hole, and then Shadow Fiend walks in. That's their team fight. They can actually fight back against this. So, I mean, you might have Sandy's Eclipse, but if we blow Outward Devourer apart or kill Queen of Pain quickly, suddenly a lot of your team fight potential is gone. And of course, as you mentioned earlier, the fact that so many of them are intelligence-based means that they're less likely to be instantly exploded by that Sanity's Eclipse, which is definitely quite helpful.
Less of a level advantage, too. I mean, Queen of Pain, 14, right up there with Sharfik, but... Sorry, with Business Perfect, but Illidan Airman only down at about 11, so he doesn't have that big level buffer that he had in the last game. And honestly, this means that, yeah, the Sanity's Eclipse just not going to be as much of a factor, but VP undeterred, continuing to push. They do have this 10-second charge of BKB now for Queen of Pain. BKB a very important item in this game. Any game with tons of intelligence heroes on both sides, BKB is going to be a difference maker. I almost think OD, nice Waning Rift. There's the Dream Coil up as well. Sharfik trying to make something happen. The Dream Coil's still up. There's the Sanity's Eclipse. Doesn't really hit much of anything. Overgrowth, they're still trying to pick off Sharfik. Puck on the ground. There's the Shadow Fiend ultimate. Not doing quite so much. Arsart still up. Gets most of a Fiend's Grip. That puts Busy Z in trouble. He's going to get picked off. The OD, the ultimate coming out from Shadow Fiend. not too much done there. And now they're chasing Dread. I don't think he makes it out here. They don't need to use a hook shot. Actually, he makes it to the high ground. Dread escapes on less than 100 HP. But that fight didn't go anywhere near as well for RoX. Even with Sanity's Eclipse not doing a tremendous amount, Bane survives, and Bane Fiends grip the Shadow Fiend at the exact moment that you want that SF to be doing a lot of work.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. Queen of Pain, of course, she's got a BKB, but she's very squishy. Just by hanging around the fight, we've got a fully maxed out aura from Shadow Fiend. That means she's practically taking pure damage from auto attacks. That makes her very, very easy to bring down. If Shadow Fiend decides he doesn't like her, he can just start smacking her, and she will drop fairly quickly. So this is the big issue, though. That fight, though, the big thing, I think Shadow Fiend, he tried to ult to it. Like, he hit nobody with that ult. The only person he hit with the ult was Queen of Pain, and she had a BKB on, so it really didn't do squat to her.
Exactly.
And I think just going for that was a complete waste of time, where he should have gone up. He should have just been attacking Bane to bring him down quickly, rather than sort of just sitting there and ulting nothing. And obviously, ulting nothing's not a great...
No, I agree. But as fun as that animation is, yeah, it takes forever. He could have canceled it and walked up and done some more races or something. Yeah, I think it's a great point. And VP, that seizes them a little bit of an advantage. They actually rotate out of the pit. Maybe they're going to try to defend this tier 1. It looks like they can get it pretty easily, yeah. It's not quite in deny range just yet, so they'll just keep that up. Preserve the map control by having that tier 1 mid, and this has given away that they're near the pit. Like, if you see 3 people coming from the southeast on Dire side, you'd be like, seems like Roshan. The question is, now that RoX know, do you think they bother trying to go for it? Can they stop a Roche?
I honestly don't think they want to charge. They don't have great vision. I don't think they want to charge in there with the threat of Clockwork. Also, Tree has overgrowth up as well, so they've always got to worry about that. I don't think they want to try and fight that badly. They're just going to take the tower instead at this point in time.
But it's denied, actually. Again, Medved,
oh,
he's
wow.
doing tremendous amounts of work. He was a support player for Z-Rage, but here he's showing his skills in this Queen of Pain, and he's had a great game. 10, 3, and 5, frankly. If you get a stand-in, you put him mid, and he's actually able to impact the game as, you know, a high-impact mid-hero like Queen of Pain, you're very, very happy with that performance. I mean...
That said, he was safe lane top.
That's true, he was safe lane. Why did I say mid? I just look at the Queen of Pain and I'm like, oh, she must have been mid, but you're completely right. He was safe lane, so he had free farm. I still think PCC doing pretty well, though. BKB, now a Yasha. Do you think he finishes Manta or makes something else?
BZZ, I mean, the Yash... correct me if I'm wrong, but Manta will dispel overgrowth, will it not?
Yes.
Yeah, so I mean, I think full Manta, just so he doesn't need to instantly blow the BKB. He can just Manta, try and get rid of the overgrowth and the BKB when he wants to. Because, of course, the BKB now, you really want to save those extra charges if you can. And also, I mean, just flat out, it's going to give him a lot of extra damage, a lot of extra survivability, so I can see him going for that Manta style straight up.
He can BKB to break the overgrowth as well, of course, but there is the chance that he actually gets overgrowth after he uses BKB. It's that really weird mechanic where overgrowth will disable people who are in BKB, but they can BKB out of it if they haven't used it yet. So RoX just trying to do a little bit of push, use the musculature of the Shadow Fiend with 36 Necromastery stacks to just take a free tower, and this is an okay trade. VP just completely smoked on the bottom, so maybe they didn't anticipate this rotation. Basically a free tower for RoX. I don't know how much it changes, though.
Well, I mean, keep in mind, right now, I mean, before that last fight in the mid lane, the experience actually favored RoX.KIS. They have actually been doing very well in terms of this game. Like, it's not it's not a one-sided thing just yet at all. The gold as well, also before last fight, also well below 1,000 gold advantage there for the Dire. So it's been a fairly even game. That said, the only real problem is the ticking time bomb with the OD. I just don't think they have the late game to really take on the OD. That said, they do have some decent disables. I mean, you can get the biggest and fattest carry, but if you land a refresher black hole on him and then follow up with a second black hole, there's not a lot you can do about that. So they've always got that potential in Enigma. That said, Enigma hasn't got dick for farm so far, so there is always that. Oh, no, actually, I take that back. He's actually caught up fairly well.
So harsh. After all those deaths, yeah, he's gotten a lot more. So he does have Blink, he has Mechanism. I would expect more likely than not a BKB for Enigma here as well. I'm actually kind of surprised he went for Blink before the BKB, but they're two good options.
I mean, he can get the BKB, but the problem is, I mean, you've got Overgrowth as well as Hookshot, as well as Fiend's Grip.
That's true.
Somebody's probably going to get you. So I think he's probably better off just landing the big black hole that he wants.
Yeah, you're right, actually. On second thought, I'm totally wrong. The BKB I don't think is a bad option, even so, for survivability, if nothing else, but he can get disabled out of that black hole. I don't know how much they can... If they get a good black hole, great, and they may win that fight, but they have to have a plan for if they don't, because you're totally right. There are so many disables. KSI, he wants to make something happen. This is nice by Crystal Maiden, actually. Neat play... Oh, So that was a close call. But he used the creeps as a screen to make sure that he couldn't get hookshotted, which I really like.
It was smart indeed. And yeah, no, I agree. Like, he'll probably get B. I do expect him to get BKB eventually, just because, like you said, it's really good for survivability and stopping any of that extra nuke damage, particularly Queen of Pain, you know, just accidentally killing him because she happened to be nearby slinging nukes everywhere. I think is definitely a great reason to pick up the BKB. In fact, I'd be surprised if we don't... I mean, I'd be surprised if Nature's Prophet doesn't get one eventually as well, just because there's a lot of firepower there.
I think both teams are just going to stack BKBs as much as possible. I mean, honestly, if Arsart... Oh my god, is he done? He's done with the BKB. This is actually a huge, huge deal. The only way that RoX.KIS can break that Fiend's Grip is to use a Black Hole on it, or I think the initial mini-stun of the Dream Coil, which you always want to use as an initiation tool. So actually, this BKB Bane could make an enormous difference. You saw, I mean, we all saw it. Ooh, they might pick off the Courier carrying the BKB! Wow. That is a huge Courier snipe. I can't overstate how important that is.
Wow. Oh. Tron making money there, so yeah, definitely big deal they losing that BKB. I should also mention that the other big point of the BKB is Bane happens to get caught up with the Waning Rift and just throw down the BKB as well.
Sure.
So I mean, yeah, that's the other big deal. So he doesn't instantly get brought out of the fight and blown to pieces straight away.
But that's 3 minutes that they won't have that. Also, it was carrying somebody's Force Staff, I think. I can't say who. It was carrying a Staff of Wizardry.
I think it's... No, I think it wasn't a 4-stop. I think it's the last bit of... It's Clockwork. He's just picked up the last few bits there. It's a top lane, though. Probably get blown apart as well. Uh-oh. He will go down. Nature's Wrath coming through as it looks like Tree now in some trouble. He does have... Oh, throws down the Overgrowth. Okay. Never mind. Was that a misclick? I'm not dead sure where he was going with the Overgrowth there. I thought he was just going to Nature's Guise himself and then sort of wait for his teammates to show up. A bit earlier there on the Overgrowth, but yeah.
What I thought, too. I mean, it's short CD, right? So it's not...
True.
Maybe... Oh, I get it. He overgrowth so that theoretically he would need to Nature's Guise afterwards, because if he... The fade time is so long that I think he was scared he would die before it actually faded him. So maybe he just wanted to overgrowth to screen himself to be safe.
That's true, I guess. Yeah, I could see that. If he couldn't really see who else might be jumping up there to try and kill him. But yeah, Argonim Scepter. Nearly done. I mean, that's the other thing. That Courier Snipe, also the Argonim Scepter for Clockwork. Can't get that either for another minute and a half.
That's, man, that really RoX.KIS, even though they're a little bit behind on stats, not even by that much, that was really important. And the Aegis, VP have to try to get something out of this push, I feel, to get this advantage back, because we're going to reclaim this. Oh, here comes the Waning Rift. Sharfik wants to make something happen. He doesn't actually use the Dream Coil, though, and Medved running in there. Sonic Wave actually already picking up the Crystal Maiden. He blinks back. NS trapped in a Sprout here. Sharfik jumps back in. There's the first pick off. There's the Black Hole on Bane and OD. A tremendous amount of damage taken by Illidan. Actually, the Aegis just barely. They almost actually picked him off afterwards. There's the hook shot in from KSI, but how much can they make happen here? The Battery Assault traps Dread in. Illidan trying to duel BCZ, actually doing a lot of damage. There's the Astral Imprisonment. Tron now, Shadow Blades away from the fight, but no! Illidan's on the ground. KSI sure he picked off Dread, but he's the last alive. Do they have the mana to chase him? I'm not quite certain. I think Clockwork makes it out of here okay. He can cogs. Yeah, he cogs to shuffle BZZ back, and KSI standing over the wreckage of his team. I mean, they have BKB, they have Aghanims, maybe they make something happen there, but in the absence of either, RoX.KIS, they took that fight convincingly.
Oh yeah, the Black Hole was definitely a big deal. And again, KSI wasn't there initially. I mean, he came in right at the end to try and save things, to try and help OD get the hell out of there. In the end, wasn't able to do a whole lot. I mean, of course, he did take an Enigma, but I had to laugh at poor old Crystal Man. HD went in there, invisible, ready to make huge plays. We had Puck blinking, get the Waning Rift, then didn't Dream Call because they were a little bit too split up. Right. And then Crystal Man throws down her ult and does nothing. Hits nobody. Yeah. If any consequences, it immediately cancels and he gets killed very quickly by Queen of Pain accidentally hitting her. I feel sorry for him. He was there for big plays.
Yeah, life in the world of Crystal Maiden, right? And tier 1 boots Crystal Maiden as well. So she truly is swift as the Wolves of Ice Rack for certain nature documentary versions of the Wolves of Ice Rack.
Why is she so slow? I
like it. I think it's fine.
Why is she so slow? I just don't get it. It's so aggravating.
Icy. Glaciers are slow, right? It's roleplay.
I guess.
They do get a tower deny for KSI, but VP now, a team that really had total control of the map early on in this game, I kind of feel like they're not really controlling it at all anymore. They don't even have any observer wards on the map.
Look at the charts. I say take a look at the charts.
Yeah,
Right now,
absolutely.
2,500 experience gain, lead
Yeah.
for RoX.KIS, and the gold as well. About a 1K lead there as well. So, I mean, they're looking at it pretty good. They're pretty good shape at the moment. That said, again, it's going to come down. They need to blow the Outworld Devourer apart very quickly. They got that last match, even though they had a bit of a misfire with Puck jumping their wall and then not really getting off the initiation you wanted. The follow-up was there. Enigma showed up. I mean, that's where that Blink Dagger is a big deal. When you have the misfire and they cluster up and try to fight, they go, okay, we've got an opening to counterattack. Virtus Pro jump in together, and then suddenly Enigma, hello, causing all sorts of grief. That said, of course, we didn't have KSI their last fight, so that was, you know, had KSI been waiting in the wings, they probably would have stopped that dead in its tracks.
And the Courier is back, so they now do have the BKB up on Bane. They've got the Aghanim's Clockwork. They got Scythe of Ice OD, and they have to feel like, VP has to feel like, well, now, you know, our items hit, so we should be feeling a lot more comfortable, but currently still just clearing out another tower. That's actually the final outer tower left on the map. Now, 0 outer towers for either team. VP just farming the opposing Ancients to try to constrict RoX.KIS's farm a bit, where RoX.KIS returning the favor, taking the Dire Ancients. So, bit of an impasse. I know, Triumph, you said that in an impasse, taking it to late game, you felt that VP has an advantage. Do you still feel that way?
I think they're pretty much forced Outward Devour. He's got to go for, I feel he's got to go for a Shiva's next, so he can't get that Hex in there as well. So, mainly because we've got Shadowfiend here, and I'm pretty sure he's building a Desolator, and I think they're going the right route, because of course, Outward Devourer doesn't have a great agility gain. He doesn't have a great agility gain at all. As I look, oh, hang on, we've got a bit of a fight here. They will pick off Puck very, very easily. Now we're also going to see HT get taken out. No Ace escaping, a bit of a waste there, wasn't going to TP out in time. Good gank there from BP.
Yeah, and they actually get the gem as well. NS, it seemed like he was going to attack the gem, but you can't do that anymore, my friend. It's indestructible.
Yeah, but I think they're making the right choice here. The fact they're going for the negative armor. If there's one way to blow Outworld Devourer apart, is get his armor down to about 0. And then Shadowfiend, I mean, if he goes for a Daedalus next, gets one big crit in there, suddenly Outworld Devourer's got maybe 500, 600 health left, and he can get blown apart very, very easily. So I think they're going the right. I think, even though Outworld Devourer is definitely, just straight out a carry power, I think he's going to hit harder. The thing is, with the negative armor, that might be enough to keep him in play. Right. But we'll see, as you're just sorting out some problems there. So I'll keep running, as it looks like we've got the Shadow Blade there. And also, I should mention the Hex there on Tron is a pretty big deal if they can land that, because the thing is, Outworld Devourer, if he goes for the armor with the Shiva's Guard, he's not getting a BKB. If he's not getting a BKB, well, suddenly raises Waning Rifts. So that's a bit of an issue, the fact that he's got to go for both the armor and the BKB. And I like what they're doing here with the item build to pressure him in that front. That said, he's got a fair amount of armor anyway. With, of course, the 12 plus 5 from the mech. So that's a pretty good start for him. But that said, I mean, you land negative 12, negative 11 armor on him. It brings him down to about 6, which is not a huge deal. It's very, very, you know, he's still very squishy against that.
He is, absolutely. I mean, I like the Deso pickup from Booz. It is trying to sort of force engagements. You want to use that Desolator. It does provide a little bit of push as well, of course. It means that they can clear out a tower quickly. They actually have pretty good natural pushing already, so if Shadowfiend does join that, he's able to just help Enigma and Nature's Prophet pressure towers even more, and just mass Scythes, basically. I think Puck probably goes Scythe with this ultimate orb. The other option is Linken's. We see that on Puck sometimes. But I feel like Scythe probably a better option here, and we're just going to have Scythes on everybody sooner or later. Even Trian, I think, will join the Scythe party at some point.
Yeah, I mean, well, here's the thing. I mean, back in the day, I mean, when we had item limitations, we actually had like a 2 limitation on Hex, in fact. It was considered so stupidly OP that you were only allowed to have 2 per team. So you could never have too many Hexes. I mean, shit.
Or branches, actually, for that matter, now that we know that Trian's here.
Buy like 10 Hexes on a team. Why not? Share the cooldowns.
Sure. Why not?
I'm joking.
The one thing is, or what was I? BCZ, he actually used BKB to escape from that Queen of Pain there. He was the first to get BKB in this game, which is good because, you know, it's helped them this far, but it's down to 6 seconds. And this is now BKB that ends at 4, so will this be a problem for them in these later fights, as just the simple fact that VP could maybe delay the bulk of their magic damage to after the Shadowfiend's BKB has expired?
I'm not too worried. I think the BKB in this case, like, yeah, of course, you know, you want it up for as long as possible, but I think in this case it's more, like you mentioned earlier, it's the escape tool. If you get overgrowth, just hit it straight away, get the hell out. So, I mean, they've got that, or, you know, you have Clockwork just jump in and start battery, so only hit the BKB so you can at least fight. So, I mean, obviously, you'd like a longer one, but as an escape tool, it should work enough, because the thing is, if they're focusing if they're trying to focus fire and like saves him for like 4 seconds, it buys that window of opportunity for Enigma to find the opening to blink in and start black holing, or Puck to jump in with a Dream Coil in the lane. If they've got the counter initiation, that if he gets jumped, 4 seconds is okay. It'll be, obviously you want longer, but 4 seconds is enough to keep him alive until the counter attack comes in. They can just smack him right back with another punch. I like the fact it should be enough, but that said, I mean, in the end, there is also a lot of hard to say. Like, if he gets jumped by a Fiend's Grip, he's in a lot of trouble.
That's true.
Yeah, BKB will know.
They can follow that up with all sorts of junk. I mean, that's the thing. The Fiend's Grip lasts longer than the BKB does once it reaches 4 seconds. For now, he still has a buffer, but if they can respond to the BKB with Fiend's Grip and then layer their disables, it could be trouble. OD Blink, by the way, this is the other interesting choice in my opinion. Not the more typical Force Staff, but the longer distance, sort of more repositioning, but gets disabled by damage Blink Dagger. What do you think about that?
I think Blink is one of those heroes. Blink is one of those items. It's not bad on anybody. Mobility and positioning in this game is king. So having the ability to either jump away from an incoming attack or jump in and start getting a really good position to start laying down Arcane Orbs or that big Sanities, I don't think there's any issue with that at all. That said, it's a riskier play than just getting, say, a straight-up BKB. Definitely much, much riskier. But it can definitely pay off, so I don't think anything really wrong with that.
Alright, a little bit of a push battle developing here. VP trying to siege the high ground. They feel that they almost feel the pressure to do this before the split push really comes into play for RoX.KIS, of course. Tron is doing a bit of damage to the top as well, but not really keeping up. Here's the pike from NS. I think they want this tower, and they're just going to keep sieging it. OD, of course, nothing special as far as tower damage, but he does get it. And now they're moving on to the melee Rex. Sooner or later, RoX.KIS, I mean, they've already used the fortification to preserve the tower. Are they going to take this fight? There is the Crystal Maiden initiating onto Outworld Devourer. He Astral Imprisons himself. He's going to have to blink out of this. The Astral Imprisonment, of course, gives you the time to get it. He actually just walks his way out, clearing out those Manta Illusions. That's the thing, of course. The Arcane Orb will kill those Shadow Fiend illusions extremely quickly, so he's not getting that benefit of the Manta. And VP, they actually peel off, and I think they feel more or less happy with this. They did get the tier 3. Maybe they just wait for the next creep wave. Tron once again going to try to make something happen at the top, but VP are ahead at this point in this base race. They're trying to do damage to this Rax. It's now down below 2/3, and the siege continues very, very slowly, very patiently. VP don't want to get caught out. We talked about their squishy heroes. We talked about the sites of ice that are developing across everyone. Mechanism used for Tree and Protector just continues to be a very tense situation. Crystal Maiden still up. There's Sharfik to try to initiate. Medved uses his BKB. Business Perfect already taking tremendous damage, and they're right back out. He's back at the Rax. Illidan still sieging here. The Sanity's Eclipse gets thrown out. BZZ is quite low. He's got to be careful about how he initiates. Illidan, actually, he's in the Frostbite once again, but they might actually get this Rax. The siege might succeed. They trade a tier 3 for it, but Illidan walks out, or does he? Waning Rift? No, they will pick off the Aegis. So it's an Aegis for a melee Rax so far. VP have probably got to get home, though. Whoa, Blink from Dread, not quite in time, and almost a trade for RoX.KIS. Not quite. They get this some damage.
Here we go. Hang on. Here we go. Prophet's jumping in there. Tron gonna jump in, gets the Hex down. This could be what they need to open this up. Although we're gonna have an Overgrowth in a second. Hook comes in. There we go. Overgrowth comes down. Now we're gonna have Illidan. Black Hole though is in there, catching 3. We've got Crystal Maiden throwing that roll as well. Only gonna catch Nature's Prophet. Astral Imprisonment on himself. OD gonna try and get out of trouble. Down goes the Clockwork as he will blink away. They're getting cleaned up. Can they catch up to him? The gem is on the ground. 2 gems on the ground. It looks like Illidan will. No, he won't. Sprout comes down, and this time round, he's going to Astral Imprisonment, go for the blink again. Should be enough to get him out of trouble. They're going to need some really quick reflexes. Not going to happen, though. And Illidan bounces away, and he will get away just in the end. Now, I just want to, I know people in the chat in a moment, once they catch up, are going to be screaming, what the fuck were RoX.KIS doing? And I use that right now because I know this is screaming. Actually, no, we'll talk about it later because we've got a fight still going. BZZ is perfect, overextends, and gets picked off. That was definitely a mistake.
So I was going to say, there is when people are going to start asking that question, because that was a complete overextension. I don't know if you wanted to farm the Ancients or what, but VP turning that right around. This Blink Dagger, by the way, these little puck tricks where you can Astral Imprison yourself and it gives you the entire cooldown of the Blink, I do really like this. It's now saved him a couple of times, so RoX, almost half a loaf. I mean, if they could have used the win in that teamfight and the buyback from Tron to actually trade the Rax, that would have been huge for them, but instead they lose Rax, they lose BZZ for the first time in a while. Tough situation.
I mean, even if they killed OD, he would have just walked back, but it would have been a big force there. I mean, this is the thing, that what they were doing not engaging here was the fact that they were waiting for a perfect opportunity. Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. Almost gets Queen of Pain.